All right, the friends, we are back with a new video, and it's on our good friend Sam Sulek. Yes, man, he's a brave man with the big muscles, taking the you know what, it's a natural lifter. Yes, man. Anyways, we're gonna review this video, man. Sam Sulek, I saw it pop up now, and I got time. I'm gonna do a bunch of videos now, man. So let's review this. It says Sam Sulek, our good friend, the gym lifting steroid. Should I say steroid slave? I don't know. I guess he never says steroid, so I guess he's natural. He's eau de natural. Whatever that's supposed to mean, but whatever. Okay, so Sam Sulek says spring cut day 21 arms. Okay, he's doing his arm today. Let's see what he does here. Oh yeah. That's beautiful. The shadow posing. Yes, we love this. Hey, it's Sam Sulek. Look at that.
You need to say it. You know, the titles should have...
Yes, it says it in the title. You're driving in your car, man, going around. Hey, guys, you know, it's me, man. It's Sam Sulek. You know, going to the gym. I'm going to do some lifts today. I'm going to see how big I get these arms. Sometimes they don't get big. Sometimes they get big. Sometimes I try to pump this and I pump that. Yeah, man. Man, I can't watch the sport.
Giving you enough of an idea about what's going to go on. AR...
You're going to get enough of an idea what's going on. I think it's arm day, dude. Is that what's going on? Yeah.
MS. Particularly...
Sam, did you take your supplements before you go in there? Before you got in there, man? You need to take your supplements, bro, to get the pump, bro. Yeah, man. Anyway, should we fast forward this? Forget about this chat. Okay, here we go. That's what we're talking about. Yeah, man.
Biceps, tricep, biceps. So I'm totally pumped up. And then, that'll be it.
Tricep, biceps, triceps, and totally pumped up. I told you, you gotta chase the pump, bro. I think people are not understanding this. Do you think Sam Sulek is damaging muscles here? You think his muscles are damaging and then they're repairing and then they're remodeling bigger and stronger? You think he's getting an adaptation doing these exact same exercises that he's been doing in his entire video that he's done? It's always the same exercises over and over and over again. What happens when you do get damaged muscles and they repair and remodel? What happens when you come back the second time and you try to do them? Yeah. Why don't they get damaged? Why don't you get DOMs? And why aren't they growing and getting bigger and stronger like the last time? I know. You got to take Greg Doucette's advice. Got to work harder than the last time. Maybe that's the secret. I bet all you think the secret to damaging muscle fibers and having them repair and remodel is taking steroids. I bet you think the steroids are going to damage the muscle fibers for him and then repair and remodel them for him. He doesn't have to do it. Even though he's adapted to doing these exercises, they're going to magically do it. Get it? They're going to bypass the protection phase and they're going to magically do it for him. The steroid's going to do it. All right, before I go on, I'll explain what I'm talking about because probably people are confused. They don't know. They're like, what are you talking about, man? Defense. I've mentioned this several times in all my videos, even on my old channel. I've talked about it, and I've talked about it, and I've talked about it. So I just posted this in my community section, so maybe you can get an understanding because some people are confused. It says, so eccentric exercise leads to two shifts in the muscle length tension relation. An initial damage relationship shift is followed several days later by an adaptation shift. What's an adaptation, bro? With the secondary shift comes protection for the muscle against further damage. All right. So one guy wrote me in my community section, bro. He wrote me in the community section. He's fucking, I don't know what he's talking about. He says muscle lengthening, muscle shortening. But you told us that concentric and eccentric was all about the direction the weight was moving. It is the direction the weight is moving. You said the downward movement is always eccentric. It is always eccentric, the downward movement. The upward movement is concentric, like it says there in the second part. I'll move there in a second. So the initial shift in following several days later, the second, they say 2 shifts. The initial damage-related shift is followed several days later by an adaptation shift. So what is the second adaptation shift? Well, the secondary shift comes protection for the muscle against further what? Further damage. So there's no more damage because the secondary shift, when you try to do the eccentric movement again, guess what? It's protected. It's protecting the muscle against what? Further damage. There's no more damage anymore. And if there's no more damage, that means there's no more what? There's no more growth. Yeah. There's no more myofibrillar growth. There's no more myofibrillar growth. I'm not talking about sarcoplasmic. Okay, what is eccentric exercise associated with? Well, an eccentric contraction is a type of muscle activation that causes tension on the muscles as it shortens. As your muscle shortens, it generates enough what? It generates what? Force. It generates force. It goes in the opposite. It goes in the up direction, in the opposite direction, up. It's the up force. So what does concentric contractions do? They generate force production. A force to move an object. See what it says here? Force to move an object. This is the most popular type of muscle contraction. It is very popular. In weight training, a bicep curl is an easy to recognize concentric movement in the up force. It gives you force production. But guess what? What does this give you? This gives you muscle damage. This actually builds more muscles. This damages muscles and builds more muscles, making you physically bigger and stronger. Get it? Through myofibrillar growth. But then it's protected, like it says here. Yeah, it says here it's protecting. That secondary shift in eccentric, it's the protective effect. Why is that? Because that's what muscles do. They protect themselves from, it protects itself from damage, so with a repeated bout of damage, so it doesn't get bigger and stronger anymore. You only get it once. Maybe you're lucky if you can get another adaptation out of that same exercise. Maybe once or twice, I don't know. Okay, so what is Sam Sulek exactly getting? Well, he's getting the pump. So this is sarcoplasmic hypertrophy right here. I put it here. Sarcoplasm in the cytoplasm of the muscle fibers, water solution ATP. It's an energy source. Get it? It's artificial muscle growth. It refers to the increase in muscle mass, where the 2 types of muscular hypertrophy, there's myofibrillar and sarcoplasmic. It's what is sarcoplasmic, which is an increase in muscle what? Glycogen storage. Yeah, man, it's glycogen storage. Oh, how about that? See that? So, how do you maximize this force production in concentric exercise? Well, it's based on AR. It's based on AR. If there's a deficiency in AR, then there's a decrease in muscle strength, that force production, thus demonstrating that myocytic AR controls key pathways required for what? Maximum force production. Now we go back here, maximum force what? What did it say here? Maximum what? Force production, force to move an object. It generates enough force to move an object. So if you're looking to generate more force to move an object, is that based on Is that based on building more muscles? No, it's based on androgen receptor and chemical strength. Get it? Yeah. Okay. Now, if you want to get physically stronger, like naturally physically stronger, like natural strength and growing it instead of just practicing at getting better at lifting a heavy weight, well, you need to do eccentric exercises, but muscles don't damage all the time. The eccentric exercise only ever damages a muscle when it's unaccustomed, untrained, or unfamiliar forms. Unfamiliar forms, unaccustomed, and untrained muscles get what? Muscle damage. They never damage in an adapted state. They protect themselves once they have adapted, like it says here. Get it, man? So, and this is packing. You do need sarcoplasmic in your regime. So this sarcoplasmic hypertrophy fills up the area with sarcoplasmic, And that cell right there is in the cytoplasm is also made up of sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. What is sarcoplasmic hypertrophy? Glycogen. What is that? It's ATP. It's an energy source. Adenosine tryptophosphate. It's a type of energy in the muscle. Energy in, energy out. So how do you get more myofibrillars? Well, they have to damage, repair, and remodel. They can lengthen, increase in number, and they can increase in size. That's the only way they can hypertrophy. Okay, man? So yeah, I think people are still confused. During the workout, more fluid moves into the muscles. Provide what? Energy. Sarcoplasmic hypertrophy refers to increase the volume of fluid. It makes the muscles appear larger, but it does not increase strength. So what increased strength? The concentric exercise. It gives you force production, but what will increase strength? Density of the muscles will increase strength. Get it? If you build real muscles, of course. If you build real physical strength. But anyways, let's go on with this. Why does he have to lift so heavy and make all these stanking noises? Because he's taking a drug, and the drug is making him push a heavy weight. In the back of his mind, he thinks that lifting a heavy weight is going to build a muscle, when in fact, he's adapted to everything he's doing now. The best that he could do is increase the glycogen so he can increase more of the sarcoplasmic hypertrophy in the myofibers, in the cells, and around the myofibers. He can build up that area too with the phony muscle, glycogen muscles. Like I said, in a human body is complicated. It's not like an ant. You're not made up of 75% muscle where you can lift 10 times your body weight without practicing. You have to practice at lifting, and human body's more complicated. What it does is it shuts down everything. It's the protective effect. These adaptations protect the body from a whole bunch of stuff, from toxins, from steroids working anymore. They adapt, and then you have to take more of it. A whole bunch of stuff. Why does alcohol stop working? Because the body is adapted. How does it adapt? By protecting itself from dying. You're killing it with poison. Get it? So it shuts off key pathways in the body. It shuts off a bunch of things and diverts it to a different direction or something. Get it? It stops building muscle because it protects itself. How does muscle protect itself from building any more muscle? By building muscle. Muscle protects itself from building any more muscle by building muscles. It builds a muscle by how? By repairing and remodeling. If it gets damaged, it repairs and remodels stronger, and then it doesn't build anymore. So what is the secondary shift? Energy is sarcoplasmic. So you can build these sarcoplasmic muscles. They can build really big, and then you can look nice and phony and jacked. Like the last time, like this guy. He's not even getting any bigger from all these lifts. I love when people say, well, I'm causing stress to the muscle cell. I'm stressing the muscle cell. You're stressing it, are you? You're stressing it. What do you think's happening there? Oh, I'm stimulating the muscles, or I'm recruiting the muscle fibers. You're recruiting them to do what? You're recruiting them so they can proliferate some motor units and androgen receptors for force production? What are you recruiting there exactly? What are you recruiting? Damaging doesn't sound the same as recruiting. Muscle damage and the word recruiting. Fatiguing doesn't sound like muscle damage either, or recruiting. Get it? They all have their names for a reason. He's really fatiguing himself here. That's what he's really doing, actually. You say, well, he's going to maximal lift. He's maximizing. He's going to failure. No, he's not. He's just fatiguing himself. Want to know why? Because he's trying to drop. He doesn't realize he's drawing more glycogen, this energy. He's losing energy out, energy in the muscles.
Okay.
Even if
all right. I'll probably come back to this.
Even if he is on steroids, it's energy in, energy out.
Let's get started with curls.
I actually like those. Those were pretty good. Okay, he does a lot of cable work and stuff, machines. He does a lot of machines. But But it's always the same ones. Look at all his videos. It's always the same ones over and over and over again. There's nothing new. I've never seen him do any push-ups or body weight exercises. I've never seen him do any handstands to do his shoulders, doing handstand push-ups. I've never seen anything. I've never seen him do any calisthenics or any type of. I've never seen him swim. I've seen him dive, but I've never seen him swim. I've never seen him run. He doesn't do sprinting. There's just a lot of stuff that he doesn't do. That he could do. He could do planks. He could do a bunch of stuff. There's all kinds of body weight exercises you could do to eke out more adaptations and muscle damage, but he's not doing any of them. That's why, like I said, he's not going anywhere. He looks the same. He's not getting any bigger. If he wants to get bigger, he already probably the steroids have adapted. They're not drawing any more of this glycogen into the muscle for him because he eats really shitty food and he doesn't eat enough. He doesn't eat enough food. So, yeah, he could try higher dosages, but guess what? Eventually it'll adapt too. The higher dosages are what kill you because they're toxic, because plants are toxic. Thus, steroids are toxic because they're made from plants. That's why everything has side effects. The pharmaceutical drugs have side effects because they're toxic, because they're made from plants, and all plants are toxic. Even the plants you eat are toxic, where they've got oxalates in them. They destroy you. Even in you lifting, eating these are destroying you. You just don't realize it. Again, this is not a hate video on Sam Sulek. This is an educational video. I'm trying to educate you. But of course, people are going to say, who hurt you? Oh, you're a hater. You're hating on my poor Sam Sulek by educating us. Why are you hating us by educating us? Master T, why are you hating us, educating us about bodybuilding? We want to all be failures like everybody else out there. We want to revere the fake people and look up to him and pray to him like he's a god, Sam Sulek. My God, yes, on drugs. Again, what is the point of him doing this? He just lifts and then he goes to failure. And he's like, "Oh, I'm trying to get that last one to come out, and it's gonna happen." I told you before, muscles only ever damage, and they tell you in science how to build muscles, what builds muscles and what damages muscles. Science tells you everything. It says unaccustomed exercise is known to cause widespread muscle damage and unfamiliar forms, which is the same thing. So if unaccustomed exercise causes widespread muscle damage, then why is he not doing exercises that he's not accustomed to? Why is he accustomed to these, and why is he still doing accustomed exercises? See what I mean? If muscles are built through muscle damage and unaccustomed exercise is known to cause widespread muscle damage, why is he doing things he's effing accustomed to, dude? Why? See what I mean? You think he's building muscles? I told you before, there's two types of muscles. There's an energy source like fat cells, triglyceride. We call it glycogen. We call that sarcoplasmic hypertrophy in bodybuilding. It's a secondary shift, okay? When you've reached this adaptation and you start lifting, the more carbs you eat, the more you will draw. For every gram of glycogen, 3 grams of water will be drawn between the skin and the muscle into the muscle automatically. Automatically if you're a lifter. And especially on steroids, on testosterone, it's going to draw more glycogen into where? The sarcoplasm and into the cytoplasm, which is made up of sarcoplasmic.
Okay. Oh, yes. All right. I think let's repeat the same 2 sets. Let's push downs and let's curl again. And then do something else. Good start, though. Nothing too heavy yet.
You want to know the funny part? There is a way to bypass this adaptation process in the steroids when they adapt. And you can actually make a smaller dose work just as well as a larger dose once not be, or once adapted. You can still make it work. You want to know how to do that? Well, by implementing HCG. In science, they tell you if you implement human chronic gonadotropin, what human chronic gonadotropin does, it'll open the receptor, it'll open it really wide, and you'll also accumulate more receptors through taking an injection of HCG. That's what it'll do. If you take steroids and incorporate it with HCG, that's what it'll do. So you won't get this high toxicity level by taking higher dosages that have adapted. So you can actually unadapt, you can open these things where they're closing right now. What happens is they don't work anymore because the receptor is refusing to take in the androgens. So they start closing their receptors, and they don't want to take in the androgens anymore. So they stop working because of that. And what do? You can open them. You can force them to open by taking HCG. Yeah, but a lot of people, they don't realize that. Some people, I think these bodybuilders in the past, I learned that from a friend who was on steroids. He told me that because these guys from like over 30 years ago, they knew about that. They had mentioned it. They talked to each other. They told me when they incorporated HCG, the gains started going like crazy. Yeah, they would incorporate it in what they call a stack. They would stack steroids, but then later they realized the problem with stacks is that they all adapt rapidly. The stack adapted rapidly. They should have done one steroid at a time until each one maxed out its adaptation. But they realized they could still stack them, and then they can incorporate HCG, and that would open these receptors. They would force it open. Yeah, I don't see Sam going anywhere. He's not getting any bigger. He's already, it's over. There's nothing going on there. He's 250, that's it. He's been 250 since he's opened this channel, and he's still 250. So what is he gaining exactly? Is he hoping that eventually an adaptation will happen in an adapted state? Well, it can if you do something you're unfamiliar with, but he's not doing that. He's familiar with all these exercises. Yes, very nice. We like that. I like this machine. It's cool. Okay, notice the range of motion. He should have went all the way back up, but he's pushing, so that's concentric. He's pushing for force production. That doesn't cause any muscle damage in the muscles. The damage happens in the eccentric exercise, the stretch. So he needs to push his arms way far back. Notice they only go partial, and look how he pushes down. He's not concentrating on the eccentric exercise. You need to concentrate on eccentric exercises, what cause damage. He's so busy trying to move against force because he's on drugs. He doesn't realize it's based on eccentric, not concentric. Concentric just makes you better at lifting something heavier. It doesn't make you bigger, and it doesn't make you physically stronger or build or get damage in the myofibula so you can build more myofibrillar growth. It doesn't do any of those things. It does a zero. It's just the initiating stage of the concentric eccentric exercise to get there.
Let's make a drop set.
Oh, now he's gonna do a drop set. Here comes the funny things that these so-called guys do. What do they try to do? Let's do a drop set. Let's do cluster sets, or let's do supersets. So this is even better. Supersets, where they go from one machine to another, to another, to another. What are you doing there? Fatiguing the muscle. Okay. What is a drop set doing? Well, if he was going so heavy, why would he go lighter? If you're supposed to get the deeper muscle fibers to damage and get bigger and stronger, why would you go lighter? It's adapted. So he's fatiguing the muscle. So that's, again, energy source based on glycogen. He's going to draw more glycogen in there. And cluster sets are usually short sets of short rest periods. And you just keep going and going and going. Yeah. See? He's doing a drop set. The truth is, your first set should be the hardest set, the longest set, if he wants to come in. That would definitely, if you've never done it before, you're unaccustomed to doing that. If you were to do your first set on that heaviest weight he came in, and let's say he was able to eke out 40, maybe 50, even 60 reps on that very first set, that's something very unaccustomed or unfamiliar. The muscle's unfamiliar with that, so it's most likely going to cause some damage. And then it'll go through a repair and a remodeling, and possibly if you did push that domain, then it'll donate its nuclei and support further muscle growth, because nuclei synthesize protein. That's what they do. And a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. Dumbbells next is perfect. 60s ought to be good.
But I also put that in my community section, why young people and mature people and younger people, the difference between them and myonuclei, and why these mature people, they don't need as much nuclei as the younger people to further this domain, to get it to become bigger. So yeah, I posted that in the community section. There's a report about it. Okay, so he moved right away directly to this exercise.
Oh, fine. One more sedative.
Imagine rising above the clouds to the
One more sedative. That duo.
Almost out of that duo.
Way to having a good arm day, Doc.
So he's back at doing triceps. Why would you do your biceps and then go back to do triceps? Remember, the blood now is in your triceps, and now it's not in the bicep anymore. You see what I mean? This doesn't make sense to do that.
I feel like there's a rep range, or more like a weight range, where it's an effective weight. If you go too heavy and you only do 3 reps, not even like a chance of getting 4, I think that's way too much. But if you do a set where you get into like fucking, just, I don't know, I feel like with light enough weight, I almost just feel exhausted rather than like worked. So I kind of want to stay right in a weight where...
Yeah, he feels exhausted instead of worked. He feels exhausted, fatigued. It's energy. He's losing energy in the sarcoplasm. He's got to restore it now.
By the time I get to 10 reps, failure is imminent. And I think the 75s will help me do that. Right after I pick a better song.
Okay, yeah, dumbbells. Okay, let's see what else he's doing here.
Apart from training hard, calories in, calories out, staying hydrated in your sleep, I wouldn't say there are too many 100% all the time cut and dry rules to this shit. As long as you go hard to get a pump, I think you're well on your way to some gains.
You're getting, yeah, you should get a pump even if you're damaging muscles. But muscles are, with a repeated bout of that exercise, they're protected. How do they protect themselves? They repair and remodel stronger, so they're resilient from further assaults. I think people still, again, like I said, these people, they don't understand that. Like I said, does science tell you what builds muscle, how muscles built, and all this kind of stuff? Yes, it tells you everything, bro. Yeah, man.
Make some standing easy bar curls.
I think I put this in here right now too in my community section. I put this in there. This just recently I put this in. It's another report. See this one here? Is carbohydrate needed to further stimulate muscle protein synthesis, hypertrophy following resistance exercise? Is it? Yeah, of course it is. It is. And so what type did they use here? Well, in this section they say differ. Soy group contained maltodextrin. So it says both beverages had similar amounts of carbohydrate, but the glycemic index, GI, differed. Soy group contained maltodextrin, while milk group had lactose. As expected, yet it was the lower GI supplement milk which generated the greatest net gain in lean mass. Why is that? How does lactose, a type of carbohydrate, generate the greatest net gain in lean mass? I thought protein builds muscles. You understand me? You all thought that protein builds a muscle. I'm not saying proteins don't build muscles. So why are they telling you that carbohydrates build muscles? What do they have to do with muscles? See what I mean? Have addressed the impact of combined carbohydrate with protein amino acids versus protein amino acids alone on acute protein synthesis in young adults. These studies demonstrate that adding carbohydrate to a protein dose that alone is known to maximally stimulate protein synthesis. It does. It maximally stimulates it because it increases insulin. And insulin is anabolic. 20 to 25 grams of high-quality protein rich in leucine has no additive or synergistic effect on muscle. Protein synthesis and breakdown. I pretty much know that. I can't put the whole thing here. This report, you can click on it, it'll come up. It's a very long report. I can't read all of it to you, okay? So, it is now well established that protein supplementation after resistance exercise promotes increased muscle protein synthesis. Yes. Which ultimately results in greater net muscle excretion relative to exercise alone, exercise with supplementary carbohydrate ingestion. And it's because, like I said, insulin excretion. It says here, insulin synthesis, thus maximizing insulin excretion. With maximal potential, this action, however, it's about insulin. They talk about it here too. They talk about this insulin, whatever. Increased insulin. That's how it does it. And a bunch of stuff. See, leucine, insulin, glycemic index, skeletal muscle, dietary supplements, whey protein, lean body mass, yada, yada, yada. Conclusion. So, yeah, I've got to go into this. I'm not going to go into this anymore. But potatoes are the best for that. I will tell you, forget about the lactose and that soy shit, whatever, glycemic index. The best one is potatoes. It's a complex carbohydrate. It's the best one to create these phony muscles.
I'll do the trick. I would do preachers, but I kind of always do preachers. I want to change it up. And also, I kind of want to do some cheek curls. Like reasonable form in the beginning, of course. This isn't so heavy where I have to swing the first few reps. But once I get fatigued a little bit,
yeah, fatigue.
I think there's
fatigue. I like that. Oh, I like this. This is good. All right, he's very focused on the concentric. So unfortunate. Okay, let's see. Do the cables. You notice he did his arm like what 2-3 days ago. He did his arms. He did them again. And he's doing the exact same exercises again. These cable things are. He does the same ones over and over again.
Which side do you think you should gravitate towards if you want your training to actually
Okay, preacher curls. Yeah, this is good too. Yeah, it's all right. Yeah.
do something for you? You know? And I'm not saying every set, and I've said this before, I think you guys, everyone knows this. Every set doesn't have to be like a fucking maxed out, screaming, just, you know, insane event. But if you're physically capable of getting 20 reps, I say the closer that you can get to that 20 on that set, the better.
I would say that too, but you have to be unaccustomed or unfamiliar to doing that 20 rep set or whatever it is to get that damage to come back. And your problem is you're adapted, and that's the protective effect against any more damage. Once you're adapted, it's protected. There's no more damage.
It just makes fucking sense, man.
Yep.
It's time to settle the real estate.
Okay, only 6 sets for tries and bar. That's like one workout could be twice as many sets as the other one. But around there, as long as you're fatigued and you're pumped, I think you're good. You know? And when
See, if you're fatigued and pumped, you're good, guy. Who cares about muscle damage? Who cares about building real muscles or anything? I'm not here to build muscles. I'm Sam Sulek. I'm just here to do fake bodybuilding, to make a name and get popular and get some money and blah, blah, blah. Who gives a shit about the rest, dude? I don't care. I don't care. He doesn't really care about growing fake or real muscles because he does this as a job. This is just some work thing, a job thing. Do you think he gives a shit?
you do 12 sets or 5 sets or 10 sets or 8 or whatever, or you do a lot of supersets or you do all straight sets.
See, you do all straight sets, supersets, drop sets, this, that, cluster sets, yada, 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 poopa.
Again, if you just do your sets fucking hard, and you yourself know in your heart that you pushed it, you're probably going to grow.
Yeah, and you're probably not going to grow. But if you take steroids and pump it and do all that, well, then you probably are going to grow. But if you're adapted to everything and even the drugs, then you're not going to grow. Even these phony muscles.
So even if you have the
It's going to pose.
bodybuilder lingo, has just ended up to be proven to be legit. You know, because you got to think, if there's thousands, actually fucking hundreds of thousands, millions of meatheads all trying whatever they can, you know, muster up in their minds to grow muscle, what works is going to be talked about more than what doesn't.
You see how ignorant this guy is? This is the ignorance of the bodybuilding community. He just talked about them, all the people that were out there in limbo ignorance. They're like, well, they're going to do whatever it takes to build muscles. Let's do some drop sets. Let's do cluster. Let's do some supersets. Meanwhile, it's really simple. Science tells you what damages muscles. Unaccustomed exercise is known to cause widespread muscle damage. Does it say accustomed exercise? Does it say trained people get damaged? It says untrained people get damaged. It says unaccustomed exercises causes damage. It says unfamiliar forms cause damage. And then it says that once you damage muscles with the first bout, with the second shift, a repeated bout, it's protected from any more damage. Why is that? Because it repaired and remodeled stronger. It doesn't need to build any more muscle. It needs to protect itself from building muscle. Why is that? So that it can carry you through a famine. Duh. That's how it works in the natural world. Your body still works in the natural world, even if you are living in an unnatural environment. It's called a city, where you think that you have some control over this domain in the body. Everything. You don't control it. You're just pretending. He's pretending. That's funny how he doesn't even know what builds muscles. He doesn't even know about sarcoplasmic. He just says he's going on a whim. I got a pump and all that. Okay, this must be good. Yeah, these are natural things that happen to you. We eat carbohydrates all day and you lift weights. You're going to get a pump, especially if you're young and especially if you're on steroids. The pump will be even more intrusive.
So I don't think it really needs a perfect scientific explanation. If you flip a light switch and the lights turn on, you don't need to know that there's wires connecting them. Right? If it works, it works. But
What? That is the stupidest analogy I've ever heard. Oh, you don't need to know how it works. You just flip the light on. It just works, right? Because you don't need to know about the wires being next to it. What if there's no wires, then you flip it on? Duh. Does it work? No, of course not. Hello. What's he talking about?
Train hard. That's all I'm saying. So
Yeah, guys, just train hard. There's no such thing. The body doesn't adapt rapidly against alcohol and drugs and everything. Like why they stop working, why it stops building muscle and everything. Just work harder. Who cares about all these adaptations? The protective mechanisms. Your body's protecting you from building muscle, from dying, and all this kind of stuff and everything by doing a bunch of stuff, whatever. Yeah, it's okay. Just work harder.
see how we look. I will admit I do feel a little bit
Looks
on
the
the
same.
less than perfectly hydrated side of things, because this morning I spent like 20 minutes in this, or no, like 25 minutes in the sauna, because it was like,
He looks the same to me, but he looks a little bit more sarcoplasmic, a little bit pumped, because he's pumped right now because he worked out.
it just wasn't that hot today. So I was kind of in there for a little longer than normal. And I think I didn't.
And you know that pump is transient right now. The pump is transient, but the sarcoplasmic hypertrophy, well, that's in there.
Increase my water intake to reflect that. But oh my goodness. I gotta stop saying oh my goodness. When I rewatch these videos, when I edit them, I feel like I say that 50 times in a row. It's irking me. But that's a pair of arms for sure.
Yep.
Boy. Oh,
He looks very pumped. You guys want that look? Eat a lot of potatoes and you'll get that look. I'm pretty dry, right? I'm really dry at 250 right now. But I guarantee you, if I was to like start glycogen loading like him, like what he's doing, the stupid pump training shit, yeah, I could get my weight from 250, 260, 270. I can get 20 pounds in just a couple weeks easily by working out once even a week. I don't even have to come into the gym often. I just got to focus on eating shitloads of potato so it will convert to glycogen and load in the muscle during that entire week after I work out once a week. Yeah, because there's an open window for almost 8 days there where glycogen synthesis exceeds this breakdown. It'll start absorbing it like crazy.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, who could be dissatisfied with this, you know? It's like,
It looks all right.
it's not even perfect.
Good steroids. Good stinkoids. You look a little puffy. But he doesn't look that big. He looks big, but not that big. But okay. Yeah, I don't know. Steroids are great, eh? His biceps, they lack a lot of definition and stuff. His biceps are small, actually. They lack a lot of definition and stuff like that. He lacks a lot of definition, man. These other pro bodybuilders, they beat him. He's got a long way to go. But anyways, I'll see you in the next one, man. Tell what you think about that. Like, subscribe, support the channel, because it's going way too long. Comment down below. Helps with the algorithm. I'll see you in the next video, broski. I don't know what else he's doing here. He's just, oh, he's driving. He's just pumping again. I like this one here. This looks good. This is a nice picture. Maybe I'll use that. I'm not sure. Huh. That looks good, man. Anyways, I'll see you in the next one, friends. Tell me what you think about that. Like, subscribe, support the channel. I'll see you in the next video. Ciao, friends.